Okay, so in the last video, the introduction to sine and cosine rule, we saw when we can use sine and cosine rule. So now we are going to apply those conditions. So typically you have questions like this and you'll be told to find something from the triangle. So this is a triangle, and in this triangle we are looking for x. Now that's another question. Now in that triangle we are looking for angle A. In this triangle we are looking for small letter x. Now if you look at this triangle, it's not, they didn't draw it complete, they didn't tell us the sides, we don't know all this place, they only gave us this place. So you can just use logic, you can use your discretion to complete the triangle. You know, I told you in the last video that the side will determine the angle. So since this is side x, that means this place will be angle x. Then you can just put any letter, you can just say this is y, z. Just let's say letters that follow each other, x, y, z. So that means this place will be small letter z and this place will be small letter y. Now if you observe this closely, you see that we're given two angles. So we know two angles, and we are looking for two angles and one side. Yes, two angles and one side given. So in this question, we're given two angles and one side. Now if you look at this, the condition is following sine rule. Now the sine rule has two conditions. One condition is you use sine rule when you are given two sides and an excluded angle, and you also use it when you are given two angles and one side. So now let's form the sine rule for this. So it will be x over sine x is equals to y over sine y is equals to z over sine z. So this represents angles, this represents the side. Now if you want to use this sine rule, you can't use everything because we have two equality. You can only say this equals to this, or this equals to this, or this equals to this. We did something like that in simultaneous equation, so you can only use two. So which two are we using? It depends on the parameters given in the question. Now in this question, we are told to look for x, so that one must be part of it. We have angle x, then we don't know y, we don't know small y, we don't know big y, but we know small z and big z. So that means we can't use this because we don't have any information about it, but we have complete information about this. So we can use this complete information to find this. So that means we will use these two. So that means the actual formula is going to be x over sine x is equals to z over sine z. So this is small letter z, this is big Z. Okay, so now small letter x, that's what we are looking for. So we have x over sine big X, that's 48 degrees, is equals to small z, that's 8, small z is 8, over big Z, that's sine 52. You have to be mindful of this. So what's sine 48? So we'll use our calculator, press that from the calculator. So we have sine 48. You make sure the angle is in degrees. That's 0.7431. So 4 decimal places is okay when you are looking for the sine, cosine and tangent. 4 decimal place is okay, the accuracy is okay. So we have 8 over sine 52. Sine 52 is 0.7880. Now decimal place means the numbers after the decimal point. So here we have 4 numbers after the decimal point, that's why it's to 4 decimal place. 4 numbers after the decimal point, that's why it's to 4 decimal place. So we cross multiply from here to clear the fraction. So if we cross multiply, it means this denominator will multiply this numerator, and this denominator will multiply this numerator. So we have x times 0.7880 is equals to 8 times 0.7431. So if we divide both sides to look for x by 0.7880, 0.7880, so this cancels this, so we have x is equals to, so if we multiply 8 times 0.7431, 7431, that's 5.9448 all over 0.7880. So if we divide this by 0.7880, so x is equals to 7.544162. Now, how do we know where to stop? Now, to one decimal place is okay. So let's just say x is approximately equals to 7.5, okay, let's say 54 to 2 decimal place. So we are leaving this to 2 decimal place. I don't want to approximate because this is it. Now I want to tell you something from here again. Now when you are doing sine and cosine rule, the side is directly proportional to the angle. So that means before we even start solving, we should know the answer we'll get will be less than this, because this is 48, this is 52. So that means the side facing angle 52 will be bigger than the side facing angle 48. The sides are directly proportional to the angle. Now let us see if we can use that logic here before we even do it at all. Using that logic, now this is 10, side 10 centimeter has angle 50. This is another question. We are done with the first one. This is another question. So I just want to apply what I just mentioned here, that the side is directly proportional to the angle. So this side is 10 and this angle is 50, but this side is 8. So that means the angle here should be less than 50. That means the bigger the side, the bigger the angle. Now that the side has reduced, the angle too should reduce. Now let's leave that. Let's see. So we predict that it should reduce. So we are coming back to this. So it should be less than 50. We are coming back to this to prove this right or wrong. Now, which rule are we using? That's very important, because this is triangle. Whenever you are dealing with side and angle, what should come to your mind is you are either using sine rule or cosine rule. So now we have two sides and an excluded angle. It is excluded because these are the two sides, then the angle is not in between. Assuming it's in between, it becomes included. So because it is two sides and an included angle, that means you are still using sine rule. But how do we know the formula? So you just do what we did for the last question. So this is angle A. That means definitely this one should be small letter A. So you can just say this is A, B, C. So that means this will be small letter B and this will be small letter C. So let's write the sine rule. So the sine rule will be A over sine A is equals to B over sine B is equals to C over sine C. Now let's see. So this is, let's see which one we'll use, the two that we'll use. So we know side A, we know we are looking for angle A, we know side B, we know angle B, but we don't know anything about C. So that means the combination we are using is this. So the formula is going to be A over sine A is equals to B over sine B. So A, small letter A, that's 8 over sine A. We are looking for angle A. Then is equals to B, small letter B, that's 10 over sine 50. So we have 8 over, we can't press sine A because we don't even know what A is. Then 10 over sine 50, we can press sine from the sine 50 from the calculator. So sine 50 is 0.7660. I told you whenever I press sine or cosine, it is good when you leave it to 4 decimal places. The precision is okay. So from here we cross multiply. So if you cross multiply from there, so if we cross multiply, so that means this multiplies this. So you have 10 times sine A. Please be careful. Whenever you are multiplying a number with a trig function, the number usually comes to the front. So it will be wrong for you to write it like this, sine A times 10. Now one can confuse it as A angle A is multiplying 10, which is not correct. So it is 10 times sine A. So the 10 will be in front, is equals to 8 times 0.7660. So if we divide both sides by 10, so we have sine A is equals to, so if we multiply 8 times 0.7660, we have 6.128 over 10. So that means sine A is equals to 0.6128. Now please, if you are looking for angle A, now this sine, the way it is attached to A, whether it is cos A or it is tan A, other trig functions that we can have, the way it is attached to it, if you want to remove this sine, if it goes to the other side, it becomes arc sine, sine inverse. It becomes sine inverse 0.6128. Please, I want you to take note of this. Take note of this. So anytime you are looking for angle and it is attached to a letter like this or a number, if it's going to the other side, it becomes sine inverse. And you can press that sine inverse from your calculator. That shift sine 0.6128. So we have A is equals to 37.79222377. But of course we can't leave the answer like this, so let's use one decimal place. So to one decimal place, so A is approximately 37 points. So if you approximate this 8 degrees to one decimal place. So it's as simple as that. The most important thing is knowing when to use the rule. Once you know when to use the rule and you apply the rule properly, the rest becomes easy. So, and you can see now, yes, the observation I told you to take note. Now you can see this is now 37.8, which conforms with what I told you here. It conforms with it. I told you if the side, this is 10, this is angle 50. So if this is a, the angle will reduce. So you can see the angle reduce. So that can give you a clue that your answer is correct. So in our next video, we'll see another type of question.